Chapter 29: Imposters and Interventions. Terror gripped the ordination banquet hall as the malevolent, spectral form of the Skeleton King solidified from the corrupted holy water, looming over Isaac. From the balcony, Eliashua reacted instantly, launching himself forward with primal fury, his eyes blazing red as he recognized the ancient enemy. Isaac himself looked bewildered by the sudden appearance of the dark energy tendrils binding him. Eli, gathering the azure divinity into his fist, roared a challenge and charged, shouting "Die!" as he lunged towards the apparition. The spectral Skeleton King effortlessly deflected Eli's attack, binding Isaac in ethereal chains and booming that it had long awaited the arrival of this Holy One. Isaac stared, utterly confused. The apparition declared its intent to destroy the Holy Empire piece by piece, starting with Isaac himself. Isaac could only wonder what was wrong with this dramatic fool. He recognized the form. It looked exactly like his previous incarnation, a realization that felt strangely repulsive. The observing one echoed his disgust, hovering nearby. It furiously questioned the impostor, declaring indignantly that its true master was far more pathetic and idiotic than this copycat, before crudely addressing the apparition. Unfazed, Isaac ignored the insult. The Pope, along with another cardinal, prepared counterattacks, gathering holy fire. They launched searing projectiles at the apparition, forcing Eli to shield himself from the backlash. He yelled for the panicked onlookers to get back as he gathered his own power, unleashing a massive torrent of azure divinity shaped like a coiled serpent, which slammed into the Skeleton King phantom. The apparition sneered, addressing the Patriarch of Azure, mocking Eli's limited power due to the curse, and advising him to stay put. Eli watched grimly, noting internally that he hadn't wanted to intervene directly, having brought the entire building down upon them as a contingency plan, his eyes glowing with power. The apparition, however, simply talked too much for Eli's liking. The skeletal figure sneered down at the chained Isaac, rhetorically asking Eli if he wanted to see the little saint die. Isaac, utterly exasperated, mentally screamed, "That's what I'm saying." The giant azure whale, manifested by Eli, opened its maw wide, surrounding the apparition and the captive Isaac. Eli grinned savagely, declaring with chilling certainty that a true saint wouldn't perish from such an attack, much to the horror of the apparition, who cursed him as an insane bastard. Isaac braced himself as the jaws of azure divinity began to close, threatening to crush him along with the impostor. The devastating attack detonated, shattering the dais and sending shockwaves through the hall. Isaac shielded himself amidst the exploding energy and debris. The Spectral King caught directly in the blast. The massive expenditure of power ripped through the banquet hall, leaving a trail of destruction. As the light faded, Goel frantically searched the wreckage, shielding Shuri and desperately asking if the attack had succeeded in eliminating the threat. Onlookers murmured in fear, realizing the Skeleton King had returned after 70 years of silence, wondering if it had been biding its time, gathering strength. Isaac, however, pushed himself up from the rubble, his clothes torn but otherwise unharmed. He knew better. "No," he muttered, gritting his teeth. "That asshole is an imposter." Eli rushed to Isaac's side, anxiously checking if he was all right, while Eli looked on with grim concern, questioning if Isaac was truly unharmed after such an ordeal. Eli weakly pointed out that the Skeleton King had called Isaac a saint. Eli gently helped Isaac sit up, asking uncertainly if the Skeleton King was truly dead now, recalling Eli's overwhelming attack. Isaac merely sighed. "No way it died," he stated flatly, explaining it was merely an illusion. Several dignitaries nearby overheard, looking surprised. The observing one confirmed Isaac's assessment, adding that it felt like a shadow clone, but something was distinctly off about it. Isaac agreed, confirming the unsettling suspicion. "It was using my mana." This sparked a disturbing thought. Could his mana core have been dropped somewhere, just as a piece of his bone ended up in the Saintus' relic storage? It wasn't entirely impossible. A predatory grin spread across Isaac's face. If that imposter possessed his mana core, then things just got interesting. He could simply kill it and reclaim what was rightfully his. Eli watched Isaac, his expression unreadable, lost in thought, recalling the moment just before he attacked. He realized with cold certainty that the Pope had been preparing an attack not just on the apparition, but on Isaac too. His gaze hardened as he looked towards the Pope, who was now tending to a crying child amid the destruction. The Pope himself looked shaken, murmuring disbelief. He touched the spot on his vestment where Isaac's blood had landed. He recognized the power signature, not the patron saint of Azure, but something far greater. It was the blessing of the greatest god, the one the House of Gold had revered for millennia, the entity presiding above the 5 major gods. And that supreme being had almost chosen the Joshua brat. The immediate chaos began to subside. Eli approached Isaac, who was sitting calmly near a fountain amidst the debris. Eli gruffly told Isaac to come. They were going back. He suddenly pulled Isaac into a tight, awkward hug, boasting loudly that his grandson had defeated the curse and grown handsome. Isaac mentally recoiled, wondering why his grandfather was smiling so creepily. Eli tried bribing him with candy, an offer Isaac found utterly unconvincing, comparing the look on Eli's face to someone leading him to a slaughterhouse. "Duke," a calm voice interrupted. Kina Barrett stood nearby, suggesting that Isaac shouldn't return just yet. Before Kina could elaborate, the floor beneath them violently erupted. Demonic figures, a hulking brute, a spectral wraith, and an insectoid horror, clawed their way out of the ground, screeching menacingly. Kina observed the unfolding scene, remarking that there were still matters to attend to there. Eli grimaced, acknowledging that it couldn't be helped. Isaac, however, grinned, a spark of azure divinity crackling in his hand. He declared that he didn't think they should return just yet either.